All right, so first of all, how do you assess the current events? I mean, there is some attacks against the government and demands of resignation. Don't you think that the post-war period is more difficult than the war period was?
Well, I mean, as a matter of principle, normally the challenges of the war are great, but the challenges of peace could be greater. I believe personally that they are greater because there are plenty of things and matters that has to be sorted out and resolved more than let's say the effort that one has to exert in order to really save lives and the like. Particularly that the war that was waged against Lebanon, from the first day, it turned out to be a destruction machine and a killing machine. So at that time, our effort was directed towards how to put an end to the war. So now, how to deal with the consequences and the aftermath of the war, I think it's more challenging. Nevertheless, the degree of determination and resolve is still there, and we know exactly where we want to go, particularly in the light of what we have already said in the 7 points plan that was agreed upon by the government, had the consensus, and supported by all the Arab countries in the meeting that was held in here, with the Islamic countries, with the spiritual summit in Lebanon, as well as with the world and what has happened in the Rome conference as well. So I know that the challenges are quite enormous, but at the same time I know that we know where we are heading and we have to really deal with it. Now, with the let's say the degree of objection and opposition to the positions of the government, well, we have to understand that this is a democracy, and one has to really understand that in a democracy there should be an opposition, and this will give the government probably an additional incentive how to really work harder in order to deliver on many of the issues that are there. Now, the opposition is getting to be tougher, yes, we understand that, but it has to be an opposition that is in compliance with the rules of the country, with the law. We are very keen on preserving the right of the opposition in order to express their views. And this is something we believe in it. We believe in the high degree of freedom, but at the end they have to comply with the laws and regulations. We have to know that this is a country of law and order at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. You are traveling a lot. Does it mean that there is a need of reviving the support for Lebanon?
Yes. Well, you know, Lebanon started this war started actually, and Lebanon was even preparing for a reform program, and at the same time preparing for the convening of the conference that was supposed to be held, and actually we were preparing for that since the meeting that we had in September 2005 in New York for the core group And that core group was intended to prepare for a conference to be held for the support of Lebanon. Now, since that time, we are working on our reform program, and we were about to announce the date when to really convene that conference. On the 12th of July, we know that the war broke, and since then, definitely we were very busy in trying, first of all, to get to a point of ceasefire and to really lift the blockade, and at the same time to deal with the aftermath of the war with all the destruction. Yes, during that time, during the blockade, it was really impossible for me to really travel, except when I traveled during the war to Rome for the Rome conference. After that, the blockade was lifted on the 7th and the 6th of August. And since then, I started another, program of visits to a number of countries in order, first of all, to thank these countries, to touch base with them on how are we really developing and what are the issues in question, and to seek further support. Yes, Lebanon needs the support of all its friends, and Lebanon, in what it really signifies and it represents, is so important in this part of the world. So important because it represents the country of convivencia in the real sense of the word. And as such, I think there is a real interest for so many countries and so many, groups to really give Lebanon a chance of life for what it signifies. And that's what we believe in the coming period is necessary, and that's what will make us really make so many visits and prepare for this conference that hopefully we can ask to be convened sometime before year end. That will really address the issues that were, accumulating over the years, and address the issues that came about with the last invasion.
Yeah, the number of issues has grown.
Has grown, yes. But mind you, let me tell you, Lebanon has suffered over the past 30 years of about 7 invasions from Israel. The Lebanese army could not go to south of Lebanon for about 35 to 40 years. Was not allowed to get into the south of Lebanon. Lebanon suffered a great deal. Let me give you one single piece of statistics. In the year 1975, the GDP per capita in Lebanon was about to be double that of Cyprus, and equivalent to that of Portugal and Ireland. After 30 years of invasions, occupations, and civil strife in the country, now the GDP per capita for Lebanon is 1/4 that of Cyprus, and probably 1/5 of Portugal and 1/10 of Ireland. And we have an accumulated debt of about $40 billion. This gives you an idea about how much Lebanon really suffered from the invasions, from the occupation. You know, Israel stayed in Lebanon from 1978 when they invaded the Litani operation, and they made another invasion in 1982, and they continued to be in Lebanon. They made an earlier invasion in 1993, a second one in 1996, and then in the year 1999. They withdrew in the year 2000, but they kept occupying Shib'a farms, which we are still claiming it because this is Lebanese land.
What are the new issues linked with the last war?
Well, Israel, as usual, let me tell you, in 1982, they came to Lebanon with the objective of finishing PLO. In fact, they did not finish PLO in 1982, though they drove PLO outside Lebanon, but they did not finish PLO, to the contrary. And in fact, they laid the seeds of the establishment or the formation of Hezbollah. Because, why? Because the problem is still there. The real problem is still there, which is the Palestinian problem, which has to be resolved. So, what I'm saying, this time they came in here stating that they want to finish Hezbollah. I think this was a wrong proposition to start with. The problem is not Hezbollah. The problem is the occupation. Israel is still occupying a part of Lebanon, and it has to withdraw. And I think there are lots of let's say, lessons that one can really draw from this war, which force will not lead to the result that is really envisaged. To the contrary.
Have you told that to Mrs. Rice?
Oh yes, I told that to so many of the world leaders. And look, I mean, to give you an example, after all these wars that Israel waged against Lebanon, is Israel now more safe and more secure? Definitely not.
And what was the reaction of Mrs. Rice? Because the American support for Israel is greater than...
Well, you see, there is a growing recognition, I would say, in the United States and with the Secretary Rice, and even with President Bush, that the things cannot continue as such. President Bush speaks about the establishment of two neighboring states, Palestine and Israel. And probably he needs to go one step further. It's not only just formation of two states, I mean, to really try to have real peace. And I think this last war has taught us additional lessons, that it is only through comprehensive, just and lasting peace that one can really guarantee the continuation of Israel. And the solution for a set of mounting problems in the region. I think the situation, because of no solution, is calling for more radicalization in the region, more desperation, fundamentalism, and as you know, normally desperate people normally behave in a desperate way. On the other hand, that's why I'm saying the whole region now, and probably the Islamic world, you see, because why? Because the Palestinian problem runs deep in the conscience of all Muslims around the world. Why? Because of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is as sacred and holy for the Christians as it is for the Muslims as well. So, in the conscience of the Muslims around the world, Jerusalem is a very important thing, and Palestine. So, how to really resolve this issue is to come and try to find out a real solution that can really get into the heart of the problem, which is the Palestinian issue, the refugees, and the land. You see, and this in here, one has to go to the Arab Peace Initiative that was made in the year 2002. Yes.
Let's come back to the last war. Can you describe for us the first day of the war? I mean, how did you react? What were you feeling this moment?
Well, my feeling is very much with what was really adopted as a position by the Lebanese government. The Lebanese government from the first day said that the incident that happened, which is the abduction of the 2 soldiers and the crossing of the blue line, we didn't know about it, we disavow it, and we took no responsibility. And the second day, we started saying that the reaction of the Israelis is unacceptable, disproportionate.
Can you tell us about your personal feelings?
My personal feelings?
Not about the position of...
Immediately, like any other Lebanese, my position from the first day, when Israel started retaliating, then all the Lebanese became one unified body against what Israel is doing. My position is definitely was against Israel.
And what have you done? Have you immediately called the international leaders? Or?
Well, I definitely, from day one, I started in contact with all concerned. Yes. From day one.
With anger or with...
Yes, I mean, definitely. When I start seeing that my country is being bombed in this murderous way, yes, I mean, definitely with anger.
You told them that?
You
told them that?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. And I was definitely following up this matter by the hour. And the Israelis, as I said, they behaved to give you an example. The behavior of the Israeli war machine, the Resolution 17-0, after 33 days of war against Lebanon, cruel, unjust war, the resolution was taken by the Security Council. That was practically very early in the morning on Saturday. And what happened? The Israelis continued bombarding Lebanon, and basically with cluster bombs for about 52 hours after the Security Council resolution, when it was issued at midnight. And that really summarizes everything, that the Israeli army turned out to be just a killing machine with no mercy. And the very fact that they have really been bombarding Lebanon throughout with these cluster bombs, it gives you an example what really crimes they really wanted to commit, thinking that by doing so they can really affect the popularity of Hezbollah. This is not true at all. This is not the way. We still believe that the way is to go through the peace process, how to solve issues, problems. Yes, because the Palestinian problem we still consider to be the mother of most of our problems. And it is at the same time the mother of most of our solutions.
Can you tell us about the day? It was, I guess, a few hours after the massacre of Qana.
Yes.
2 times in 10 years, I mean.
Yes. And that's quite significant, you see.
Yeah, you told to Mrs. Rice, okay, it's not that she shouldn't come here because there was nothing to negotiate.
I said that, yes. I said that there was nothing to negotiate in the light of what happened. Yes.
Can you tell us if it was an answer you prepared, or it was because of Kana? It was what happened this day?
Yes, I think that morning when I've seen the scenes and the news, that was the only reaction and position that I can take. And accordingly, I contacted my partner at that time. We were partners. I mean, we are always partners in many things. He's the Speaker of the House, and I'm the President of the Council of Ministers. But we were partners in dealing with this matter. I talked with him, he came in here, we announced it together.
Last question. You are perceived, or you were perceived more as a manager than a war leader.
I'm perceived as a war manager more than a war leader. I am not neither a manager nor a leader of war. I'm a man of peace. And I want to lead my country towards peace because I believe in that. And I have the Arab Peace Initiative, which all the Arab countries, they have adopted.
But for the international community, it was obvious in France. You became, during the war, the voice of Lebanon.
Yes, definitely. But I am the voice of Lebanon to get out of war, not as a war leader. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. 3 minutes.
You pushed her so that she didn't finish.
Just 3 minutes.
Yes.
About the declaration of President Bashar al-Assad saying that there will be no way to prevent the crossing of weapons. How do you react to that?
Well, I believe that everybody has to do his own job. We have to work hard in order to prevent. And I think Syria has to work hard in order to prevent any infiltration into Lebanon. And this is for the benefit of both, because we are both sister countries, neighboring each other, and it is in the interest of both to build good relations. So this will not be really helpful. And this is not really helpful for the implementation of 1701. And this is not helpful even for the liberation of the Shib'a farms, which is our objective. We are stating always that we have to really liberate Shib'a farms. And this has to be done through the diplomatic means, like the thing that we have already managed through the diplomatic means and through the 1701 to drive the Israelis out of Lebanon. They withdrew now from all the newly occupied territories in Lebanon. There is still the matter that has to do with the lands of the Raja village, but I think this will sooner or later be resolved. So I believe that the best thing is for each country to control its borders properly, and this is for the benefit of both. We are very keen on establishing very good relations with our neighbor, and only neighbor, you say, Syria, and this is in the interest of Lebanon. Again, it is in the interest of Syria.
Syria is a concern or not?
Syria is
a concern or
is a concern for us. Syria is as I said, Syria is our neighboring country. And like any two neighboring countries, there are quite a number of issues. Everywhere in the world there are matters that has to do with the borders, with the, let's say, any infiltration, any smuggled goods, anything. These are normal things. You find it between the United States and and Mexico. You find it between Switzerland and France. I mean, this is normal. Now, how to really try to improve the relations, how to enhance the good aspects, and how to reduce the impact of the negative ones. So this is the thing. It is definitely our keen interest to build with Syria good relations, but on the basis of mutual respect. It is not in our interest, nor in their interest, to have a continued troubled relations between the two countries.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.